Hey everyone. Hey, I'm doing a live right now and I have never last time I did a live was back in May, I think, of this year. So I don't really do lives often and trying to figure that out. So, hey, it's new, I guess. I don't even know how to use this I'm this is the direct YouTube studio, so trying to utilize this as a trick. So I wanted to share with you a couple things, and just looking at the struggle. I can't share my screen because I don't know how to use this software. So you're gonna have to just bear with me here. So the title there, I put the title about being listed, and if you're watching this, maybe you're a notary, maybe you're not a notary. I don't know, but this is geared toward the notary community. And I wanted to just share with you that if you are it doesn't matter if you're a new notary or a seasoned notary, you need to make sure that you're listed on all the directory sites. One being there's paid sites and there's free sites. So a paid site example would be like 123 Notary, and that site I've gotten business from attorneys and escrow officers that are looking for a notary in my area, and they find me there, and I get the business. Some not paid sites that would be well, there's some free ones out there. You can be listed on Notary Rotary, for example, for free. They just want to make sure you update your information. I think 123 Notary does allow you to have a free listing as well, but depending on if you pay or don't pay, it's going to move you up and down the list. So there's some other sites, like Notary Cafe. Those are the big sites. There's some other ones that are less familiar, that are less common, that you can be on. I'm on I think it's findlegalservices.com or something like that. I think I paid for that, but it was like one-time fee type thing, and people think it's a scam. And some of these things are less likely to bring you business, but the thing is you being listed there, your name's out there on the internet. So the more places that you're listed, the better chance that you're going to get to the right people. And so that brings me to I shared this in another video, is the Notary Family um, database, and that is you can list on there for free as long as you're a notary. You have to be an active notary to be on that site. Go there and put your name on there. And one of the reasons why we created that database is because we're trying to gather people that speak another language so that we can use them as a resource. I'm just an example. I had somebody uh, came to my house it was a couple days ago, and wanted me to do a notarization. It was actually an apostille and a notarization, and I couldn't do it because the dad, so the son set it up, and I didn't ask any questions, and I should have, I guess, but I didn't. I made an assumption that everybody spoke English because I get called and he spoke English. So anyway, um, he comes over. He didn't speak English. He spoke Russian, and I said, "Oh, okay, I can't help you because here in California, you need to be able to communicate directly with the signer to be able to make the notarization happen." So in my database, I didn't have any, Russian speaking notaries. So that would be awesome if you spoke Russian, you were on the database, and you happen to be in my area or California. I can search you up. Oh, here's a list of Russian speaking notaries. So I did that through Google. And usually when I do that through Google, I might or might not be able to find somebody. I was able to find somebody in San Francisco for the guy and said, here, call this guy up. He might be able to help you. He was closing, I think he closed at 7 p.m. It was like 3 minutes to 7. I said, just give the guy a call and see if you can make arrangements to get this notarized. So that's where these type of databases come into play, is being able to list all the information that will help you in the be seen. So I wanted to I'm going to put that in the chat, the website. So on the Notary Family website, up there in resources, you can add yourself as a notary. You can also search for notaries. And just to be clear on the search part is it's free to search for the public, but you can't get to the real search parameters unless you are a member of the notary family or you pay for that piece of it. And paying for that piece to search for by language, it's $10 a year. So it's not mind breaking or it's not wallet breaking to get that functionality. But right now I haven't promoted that part because I'm trying to get notaries to put their information in the database, which is slow because people don't want to take the time or whatever the reason is. So I encourage you to take the time, put your name in there. Even if you don't speak a foreign language, put your name in there, because eventually we're going to have it. I'm actually working on this piece as we speak, is being able to search. Well, you can search by zip code and state and county right now. That's free. And then you members or paid members will be able to search by language. If they're a RON, what kind of RON platform the notary utilizes. And then also they will have the capability to find out how far the notary is from the signing location. So that will be mapped out, and you'll be able to search that. So if you're, and I've dealt with trying to find notaries around the country and not knowing the geography of where they are. I mean, I would have to do the work myself. Is like, first I have to find the notary, and sometimes you know what zip code they're in, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're close to the signing location, because there might be, who knows how far that zip code covers. It could be, across a whole county. In my county, for example, I'm one of the largest counties in California, and so it takes about an hour to drive from one end of the county to the other end. Okay, so that's not I mean, that is a distance, but there's other counties in the country that you can be, driving a lot further. Okay, and zip code is, obviously that's not, my county has multiple zip codes for sure, but I'm just trying to give an example of, you don't know if you search by county or something, for example, that doesn't mean that the person is next door to the other person. So I'm trying to make that a function so that you'll be able to say, oh, here's my address where I need somebody to go, and here's a map of where they live, and it will tell you how far they are from them and show a map of their route to that location. So I'm working on that right now, but that's going to be a paid feature. And right now I'm saying $10 for the year, but it depends on, that might go up eventually. So I'll probably put a link in there if you want to get on for $10, and you'll just pay $10 for eternity if you want to keep that going. But it depends on how the database will be utilized and how much Google will be charging me, because just to FYI for everyone, Google charges for all those requests. So, it's not a huge dollar amount. I think it's like a couple cents, like 1 or 2 cents for the request, depending on what kind of information you're pulling back from them. But, depending on how many people are using it, that starts adding up quickly. So they give me I got I think it was a $200 or $300 credit to try it out, and I've only had it running for less than a month, and I've already blown through $250 in credit. And I'm like thinking, how in the heck am I blowing through that much credit? Because essentially there's been a handful of people that put in their information, and I've done some testing myself, but even then, I mean, it's crazy. So anyway, that's the challenges of web development and such. So anyway, so I want to encourage you to go on that. And then as far as the other services that are out there, put your name out there wherever you can, whether they be notary listing services, signing services, whatever, those kind of people, put your name everywhere you can. Okay. Get yourself on a list. It could be just going down to go down to the Chamber of Commerce in your city. I mean, I know that's a paid thing. They want you to pay to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce. So I paid 1 year. I didn't pay. So I paid for the Chamber of Commerce in 2019. I didn't renew because of COVID, and they shut everything down. So I'm like, I'm not going to pay to get no benefit. So I got a call yesterday from a lady. Hey, I got your name from the Chamber of Commerce. I'm like, okay. So I haven't paid for that service or to be listed there, and I'm getting calls. And what's interesting is there was another notary in my city. She said, yeah, I paid for the Chamber of Commerce. And I said, yeah, I noticed that they kicked my name off of the website, because I had been on the chamber website as a notary since I paid in 2019. Once she paid, they kicked me off and put her on there. And then I'm talking to her. She's like, yeah, I might get off of the chamber, because as a notary, it's not like you get a lot of business from the chamber, especially depending on your city size. So my city size is 100,000, and it's good to get on there once and then see where it goes. But if you're not making those connections with people like your local title agencies and such, it might not be worth it. So I know that in my chamber, most of the title companies are in the city over, but they actually have memberships, and they'll come to the events in my city. So I've met a few of those. They're not the escrow officers per se that come to those events. It's usually it could be the manager of the office that will come to the event, and you make a relationship with the office manager, or whoever their promotion person is that goes to all the events. So just getting in there and meeting with those people, that might be a way to get in the door to some title companies. I know that loan signings are down right now, so you have to focus on new construction or new builds, new house buyer side stuff, or sales. So I'm doing a lot of sales. I did one yesterday. I'm doing another one today. Everything's sales right now where I'm at. Okay, everybody's moving out of California, so I'm in the Bay Area. Sayonara. So they're going to your state, wherever you live outside of California. If you're in California, they're moving to wherever you are in California. They're not staying where I'm at. And if I do purchases, it's usually for somebody outside the state. So I did a couple. I've been to their house like 4 times, and they're buying property in Tennessee. So Tennessee's hot right now. Anything out in that area, uh, in the East Coast, I'm doing a lot of stuff out there. So anyway, wanted to share that with you. Get listed, do some marketing. Next week on next Thursday, I'm taking a few of the Notary family members local to me. We're going to some title companies. We're going to go introduce ourselves as the Notary family and just be a resource to those escrow officers. So we're going to give out a list with all our names on there. If one of us are not available, then they can go down that list. And even if they get to the last person and say, "Hey, I need somebody," you know, I'll be happy to find somebody for them. So be a resource to your escrow officer or whoever you're dealing with, because they they don't want to go down the list. And that's why a lot of these escrow officers, they go to signing companies because they don't want to deal with it. They're busy. They want to say, "Hey, find somebody for me." I'm not a signing service, okay? So I'm going to be a resource. I will help find somebody for them. uh, and I actually know a few signing services, a few people. So if I can't find somebody, um, that I know that I can refer the business to, I will refer that escrow officer to a signing service, and they'll be able to get the work, uh, to the right notary. So just be a resource. I know times are tough right now, and it's the holidays and everything, but get out there right now. This is the time that you need to run out and be known. Do postings on your social media, whatever that looks like. If you want to wish people happy holidays, because I know there's a different holidays are happening right now, religious holidays. Uh, do other postings, informational postings that can help people. Just get your name out there so that your name is always top of mind. That's Bill Soroka. Top of mind, is his thing. So he has his NBB, set up where you can get on there, and that's one of the things he promotes, is being top of mind. And if you are an NBB member, that's awesome. Get out there, do what he's saying to do. I'm trying to do what he's saying to do. Uh, Him, Laura, and Jen Neitzel, trying to get out there and be known. And that's my goal here. And I am an introvert. Bill says he's an introvert. Uh, he might be more of an extrovert now because he's getting out there more. I am not. I'm an introvert. It scares me to death that I'm going to be going out with these people to knock doors. I don't like that work. So I'm doing some digital stuff. I'm going to be making some landing pages that I can send people to. So do this kind of work that when it's slow. I mean, when the phone's not ringing, do all the things necessary to get that phone ringing. So do what you can. Run out there, give business cards to everybody you can meet. Do some digital marketing, such as posts on your Google profile. List yourself on all these websites if you haven't done that already. And even if you have done it, because I've done it myself. Okay. And you need to update your profiles. Go in there and freshen it up. Make something new. I think I've had stuff posted on there, well, probably about a year or so. Uh, but go in there and make some changes. Maybe you added a business something to your business. Put that in there. Say, hey, I do fingerprinting now, or I'm a wedding officiant also. Even though it might be a signing service that is looking at your profile, tell them that you do that stuff. Okay, so then they know, hey, you're not just doing loans. So then they'll be like, hey, okay, I'm going to call this person. Hopefully they answer the phone, and answer your phone all the time. Even if you're in an appointment, send a text or something back to those people and say, hey, I'm in an appointment, but I'll be happy to talk to you. I can reply to you via text or whatever, and let me know. Do that. Okay. Get those, try and make those connections. Anyway, that's it for now. I don't want to keep going on. I know it's live and everything, but I don't, I don't think you can get on this when you're using the studio here. You can't get anybody on to even chat. So I'll have to do what, if you follow Griffin Notary Services, Griff, he has the StreamYard. I'll have to do that next time, but uh, get on, you follow him too. If you don't follow him, Griffin Notary Services. He has a lot of great information out there. There's a lot of notaries on here on YouTube that share a lot of great information, and I encourage you to follow those people. You can follow me if you want. Everybody follows me because of my fingerprinting information, and I should do a live on fingerprinting one of these days, just going through stuff. But I do want to offer a class on fingerprinting. So if you're interested in learning fingerprinting, you can contact me for that and put that in your business. Because fingerprinting, that's the recession-proof service that you want in your business. Okay, so get some recession-proof business going. If you're just doing notary work, contact attorneys, estate planning attorneys. That's another one that's pretty recession-proof. Adoptions, this kind of thing. Do some jail signings. All these kind of avenues you can attack and drive business to your business. Okay, so go out and do it. I'm heading out right now to do to take care of some personal business. Then I have some business to the business, and just keep it going. And then also, I just want to invite you, since we're live today on Clubhouse. If you're not on Clubhouse, get on Clubhouse. Today on Clubhouse, in the Notary Family Club, we have Maria. She's sharing the 90-day challenge, and she's going over her experience that she's doing. So she does it week by week, and so I think she's on days 38 to 40 something, 42 or 43, something like that. So anyway, no, put your info out there. Put your info out there now. It doesn't matter if you're new. So just to give you my experience. So I'm going to just give you my story. So I became a notary in 2016. In 2015, I lost my job. I was I installed cash register and computer systems primarily for restaurants, and that my divorce was final in 2014. So I'll go a little bit before that. Okay. 2015 comes around, and once my boss knew that everything was final, I was out. He stopped paying me. So I'm like, okay. So I had to find something to do. So I'm like trying to make ends meet. And I essentially went off and started doing that business. I took a bunch of customers that I dealt with over the years and just took them over and just continued to support them. Well, that doesn't work well in the service industry because they don't call every day. Okay. So I'm struggling, and I talked to my friend, and she said, you should get into real estate. I said, okay, fine. Let me do what I have to do. So she bought the books and the courses for me to get into real estate. So I start studying that. And then while I'm studying for that, I said, I'm going to be a notary. And so I was thinking about being a notary. I was going to take the class in in January of 2015. It got canceled. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to work out. So this was before I stopped getting paid. So come June, I'm working on my own, start that business, um, taking over my customers. And then by December, so June is when she says, I get involved with real estate. So by December, I'm talking to her, and I think she's like, yeah, you can take the class now, because I was reading all this information, and just take the course. It's open book test. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. So I'm like, why didn't you tell me that at the beginning? I would have just breezed through it, and I would have had my license a long time ago. So anyway, so she goes and says, yeah, go do that. So I go do that. I breeze through the information. I pass barely. I think I got 70% on all the classes. So that's the minimum. I'm like, okay, fine. So I schedule my test to take the test for that. But in the meantime, I said, I'm going to be a notary. So I schedule that up, and I go one day to be a notary. That was probably in January of 2016. And I went through that class, took the test, and I didn't know if I passed or not. I'm just like, okay, whatever, because you don't know for 15 days or whatever. So in the meantime, I'm like, okay, I'm get scheduled for the test for the real estate license. So I go down to Oakland at the office down there, and they have this big room you walk in. So I take that test, and that one they actually tell you right then and there that you pass. So I took the test. I go out, and they can't tell you pass. They give you a paper, say, okay, go outside. You go outside, look, okay, I passed. Okay. So I passed. Okay. So that was on the 27th of March. So then I get back. I'm good to go there. And what's interesting is I got my either a week or so before that. No, it's probably a few days after that. I get my packet in the mail and says March 27th. So my commission, my license for my real estate expires the exact same day as my commission expires, March 27th. So it's going to expire, both of them expiring the same time. So anyway, so just I'm getting a lot of information here, but I started the real estate stuff, and my kids are starving, so they're like, I need to do something. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to put my stuff out there for the notary. And I had taken a class. So when I took the class to be a notary, then I became then the lady said, hey, for $100 you could be a loan signing agent. And I'm like, so I just became a notary just to be a notary. I was just like, at the time it was like $10 a notarization. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna make $10 here and there. But then I go to the class, and she's like, you need to be a loan signing agent. I'm like, I don't even know what the heck that is. But anyway, paid the $100, and the class was in April. So I think I took so I must have taken the class in March or something. Maybe it was the first part. Yeah, first part of March. And then I got the commission a few weeks later. That was when everything was flying fast. Now you have to wait 4 months or whatever to get a commission from the state of California. But so anyway, so I ended up getting. So I lost my train. I lost the story now. Um, so yeah. So I took the class. I was I scheduled the class. So it was March, then the class was in April. I got in the class in April, and she's saying, okay, put all your information, like what I'm telling you, on these websites. I put all my information on the websites. I got a call in May for a loan signing. I've never done a loan signing in my life. Okay. So I took the class, and this was not, a lot of courses. This was before Bill Soroka's class, Sign and Thrive. This was before loan signing system, I think. I don't, Notary to Pro was out there, but I didn't even know about Notary to Pro until a year and a half after I was doing loan signings is when I found her course. Okay. So that's a good course to still take, take all those courses. But anyway, so I get this call and, hey, can you do this loan? It pays $100. I'm like, okay. Because at the time I'm like at that time I'm driving Uber and Lyft, just trying to make ends meet. And $100, I'm like, perfect. $100. I'm going to go out there, have people sign a bunch of paper, stamp it, send it off, and be good. So I had that happen. Then I started getting more people calling, and it just started rolling forward, So being new, get out there, just jump in there and do it, because right now you're going to jump in and it's not like 2020 where people were calling me like I'd get 10 or 15 calls a day. Hey, are you available? Or even more. And no, I'm sorry, I'm not available. I already have 6 loans I'm doing, and I can't squeeze another one in, or whatever the case might be, So now it's slow. So jump in there, put your name out there, and go out there and start knocking doors, get out there and get known. And I know it's scary to get out there and do that. And I'm going to tell you, the guy that called me, the first guy that called me to do a loan, I'm like, he's like going through this. I'm like, yeah, I can help you. Just be confident. Yeah, I can do it. No problem. I got there. And by the way, the first loan that I did took me 3 hours. Okay. So it was $100. I had 3 signers, and I had to attach, they were all jurats. So I had to attach all these loose certificates. So I'm out there filling all these things out. And I get home, and then I'm going through the instructions, making sure I remembered everything. I'm reading, it says collect IDs. So I'm like, so 10 o'clock at night, I like called them back, left them a message, said, hey, I know it's late. I forgot that I need your IDs. If you can make a copy, so I can get that sent off tomorrow, that'd be great. So I go back there in the morning, and the lady, one of the signers wasn't there. She had to go to work, and I sat there and took pictures of their IDs and got it done. But so that's another thing. Read the instructions. So I didn't have all this experience that I have now, and I almost botched that up, as far as sending it back without IDs, So read the instructions. So, but get out there, go do it, and I'm sure that you'll be successful. But you just have to jump in with 2 feet. That's what you have to do. Don't be afraid of making mistakes and whatever. Because I'm going to tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you that I've made every single mistake out there. And most notaries that are humble, I'm not humble, but most notaries will tell you they made mistakes, and they're straight with you about it. I'm not proud of the mistakes I made. It's not good to make mistakes, but when you make a mistake, I'll tell you right now, you're not going to forget that, and it's going to stick with you forever. Okay, so you're going to be good. Do you need a company name? No, you don't. I operated without my company name for 2 years. I operated under my own name. So I just said Jeffrey Clark Notary Public, and I posted that on all these sites, and people would call me. No big deal. And they just send you checks in your name. And I still get checks in my name. I don't, there's only a couple companies that write me checks in my company name, but whatever. As long as the check's clear, I don't care what it comes in. But go out there and make it happen. As far as the fingerprinting business, yeah, it's rolling forward. It's right now, this month, it's very slow. Last month, I was pretty hot last month. I did about 75 people. This month I'm doing I've done 2 people this month. So that is not good. So it's the 8th day of the month, and usually I run about a person a day, and that's not good. So it's not happening. But so fingerprints are mostly used in my area. It's mostly for employment. Sometimes I get some immigration people. And then licensing is another big one. So as a notary, for example, you have to be fingerprinted. Real estate agent, fingerprinted. You want to be an EMT, you have to be fingerprinted. A nurse, fingerprinted. All these different professions, you need to be fingerprinted. So just go out there, and if you don't, doesn't matter what state you're in, you can do fingerprinting. You could do ink fingerprinting. I do ink and live scan, which is the biometric fingerprinting. But that depends on your state, the biometric one. So I just want you to be aware of that. If you're in a state that you need to, some of these states they have contracts with a particular company, and you need to partner with that company to make it work for you. But it is a lucrative business to get into. I'm getting well, I was averaging about 30 people a month, and that's about $1,000. That's about $1,000 a month in revenue for me. But if you go out to the schools, yeah, I should go after schools. Yeah, I did. Yeah, Guillermo. I've done a couple schools here recently, and they've been good. So I have to do that. I had a school district here locally contact me, and I told them my price, and they actually lowered my rolling fee, and they didn't come back. And I'm like, they asked me how much to travel to them and all that. I said, you know what, I'll just include the travel fee in there. They didn't get back to me. So, but that doesn't mean they won't call me. So you never know. It's usually the schools you get that work at the beginning of the school year or beginning of semesters or that kind of thing. So I have a contract with, or I had a contract with the college for point of sale. And I talked to the guy and I said, hey, can I do your live scan here? Because he has to live scan all his employees. And he said, oh yeah, the school does it for free. I'm like, okay. So I couldn't get in on that business. So I'm like, bummer, because that I talked to him back in 2019 when I started doing fingerprints, and when he told me that, I'm like, great. So anyway, but you just have to plug along, go out there and try and get out there, because there's a lot of people like if you're a notary and you're doing adoption signings, they have to be fingerprinted. So getting in partnered with these adoption agencies, it's like, hey, I can notarize the documents, I can do the fingerprinting. And if you make that relationship, they can send all the people to you if they're local, or they're not going to be local necessarily, so you might have to do some travel, but working that relationship so that you can capture that business is where you want to be at. Like especially the school districts like Guillermo's talking about, those those people, once you're tied into those people, they're going to call you back unless you piss them off. Okay. So I did that one school. I'm sure they called me back. So I did one, I think it was in August, did a bunch of people. And then they called me back in October. I did some more people. And yeah, it worked out. I mean, I'm still waiting on a check on them, but we'll see. They said it fell through the cracks, so we'll see about getting that. Hopefully, it's gonna come back. But anyway, so go out and get that business. If you're here in California, for sure, do it here. If you're not in California, go out and look into doing at least the ink fingerprinting, because the business is out there. I got a call from a lady earlier in the year to do some, I think she worked for Motorola or something, and they do different projects that require fingerprinting, federal locations and so forth. So, it's like perfect. You go out there, fingerprint them, and then next project they're on, they need to be fingerprinted again. So as long as they don't move out of your area, you'll be called back, but just you just have to make those relationships. So this is all relationship building, and I know that Bill Soroka, Laura Buer, she's talks about that, all the time. So yeah, just so to sign up on what kind of places you want it. So if you want to do loan signings or attorneys, that kind of thing, go to 123 Notary, Notary Rotary, and Notary Cafe. Those are three of the big ones, but there's other ones that you can look into. So I said you can look into the Notary Family database. That one's free. You can log into that one and do that. You can put your name on that database for free. There's other ones that are paid that I haven't really. I did. I said to find. I think it's findlegalservices.com or something like that. I paid for that one. I get people from that. There's another one. There's some other ones that you can get onto for fingerprinting, just various things. I mean, I would just do, those are sites that people look up, notaries in particular, but get on nextdoor.com, be a notary in your neighborhood, post in that thing. I mean, just doing social media is where you can get out there. Nextdoor is a hot one because you're a notary, that goes out to your neighborhood. So who's looking for a notary? If they put notary near them and the notary's in another city over there, you don't want them to travel over there. You want them to talk to you. So putting stuff out there in putting that out there in the in your neighborhood is going to help you, because they look on that neighborhood feed, and if they're looking, I've seen on that feed, hey, I'm looking for a notary all the time, but I don't look at that thing I don't get pinged on that all the time, so it might be a few days before I get notified and they already found a notary. But even if I'm not available, I still reply, or even if I find it a couple days later, say, hey, if you haven't found a notary, let me know. Otherwise, I can find you another notary in your area, if it's not in my area. Because sometimes I get requests for out of the area, like it's the city over or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I know notaries in those areas. So network with, you say you're new, network with notaries in your area. Call them up and say, hey, do you mind doing coffee with me so I can pick your brain or whatever? Take them to coffee. Get a list of notaries and call them all up and say, hey, let's meet at Starbucks and just chat about the business, pick their brains, Don't think of those notaries as competition, because they aren't competition. They have different skill sets as you. There's so much business that is available. So you want to take advantage of knowing those notaries, because if they know you and they're not available, they can call you and say, "Hey, I can't do this job. Can you do it?" And I've gotten calls from various notaries saying, "Hey, are you available to do this job?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm driving right by there. I can take care of it." Or whatever, or you can send them business too, because I've also had to send people business. So one notary in particular, um, you have to be approved to do jail signings at this particular facility. And I said, yeah, um, I referred business to her, and she's gone and been able to take care of it. So, perfect. So just being a resource, you're a resource to them, they're a resource for you. So go out and take care of that. I know I'm all over the place with the subject. I'll have to update the description. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. Hope that this was helpful. And if it was, like and subscribe, and then let me know. Put a comment in there, and if you want to do some more lives, I'll do some more lives, and we can get some interaction going. um, I do want to invite you. I invite you to the notary family. The notary family, we're having a networking event in January. It's free for everybody. You don't need to be a paid member to be on that. So if you're a notary, uh, look out for that. I'll put that in the description. I did another video. I think I put the link in there. You need to register to be on that. It's going to be January 9th at January 9th at 9 a.m. Pacific. Okay, and it goes for an hour. We're going to be networking with other notaries across the country. So come to that and participate. Okay. With that, I'll see you later. Have a great one, everyone.